If you're watching this, there's a good chance that you've been seeing a lot more real estate related videos, or maybe you're gonna buy a home within the next 4 to 5 years. But some of you watching my videos might be hearing me somewhat similar to this.
To develop a line of automation products that establishes new standards for quality, technological leadership, and operating excellence.
Oh, nice.
Instrument that would not only provide inverse reactive current for use in unilateral phase detractors, but would also be capable of automatically synchronizing cardinal gram meters.
Yeah, okay.
Rockwell Automation's retroencabulator. Power being generated by the relative motion of conductors and fluxes, it's produced by the modial interaction of magnetoreluctance and capacitive diractance.
Okay, what? Yeah. So let's talk about it. The top terms or concepts that you must know before you go out buying a home. Coming right up. What's up guys, I'm Vince, Hawaii realtor, creator, and entrepreneur, here to put the real in real estate. Guys, there are a ton of jargon, acronyms, and terms that us real estate professionals use without a second thought, without any further explanation that probably needs further explanation. So to make things less stressful, it's good that you understand these terms and concepts ahead of time, like right now. So today I will be covering the top terms or concepts that you must know before you go out and buy a home, terms that you'll need to know during the house hunting process, like writing offers, as well as that escrow process, that 30 to 45 day window where you finalize your home purchase. Even if you're not in the process of buying a home currently or soon, it's good you know these terms so that you understand the real estate housing market better. As always, I have each part, each term timestamped in the description if you need to skip around. Now before I begin, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button and the subscribe button if you appreciate the way that I broke things down or the value in this video. I'll be putting out way more content just like this or even better than this in the near future, and I'd love for you to be there when I do. That being said, let's get into the first topic, house hunting terms. Now, if you're not familiar with the term house hunting, it's because I made it up, or someone else did for sure. I don't know, I'm not an original thinker, but I'm referring to the moment when you're actually out there looking for your home, when you've been already pre-approved by your lender and you're with your realtor checking out open houses. Now, one of the biggest questions that I've gotten so far while we're in the house hunting phase, or maybe even earlier than that, is what do you mean we are in a seller's market right now? So the first concept that we will go over is the meaning of a buyer's market versus a seller's market. But to understand this, we must first understand the law of supply and demand, right? If you've taken any economics 101 class, it's the first thing that they teach you. And quite frankly, it's probably the only thing I remember. And I majored in economics. Yeah, I know. It's sad, isn't it? In real estate, supply is referring to the amount of available homes in the market. You may even hear the term inventory when referring to these available homes in the market. Now, demand refers to the desire for those said supplies. So the desire for the homes that are currently on the market. So typically, if demand is low and supply is high, or even at least regular, you would consider this a buyer's market. Now, if demand is high and supply is low, then this would be considered a seller's market. Basically meaning that one party has more leverage or more negotiation power over the other party. So in 2020 and right now in 2021 and going into 2022, we are in a seller's market because a lot of homeowners do not want to sell their house because of COVID-19. So this creates a low supply of available inventory of homes. And you couple that with the high demand of buyers or people trying to buy a house right now because interest rates are historically low. To better understand this, I did create a market update video earlier this year. I do recommend that you check that out if you need further explanation. Right up here. Anyways, overall, understanding the kind of market that you're in helps you create a better offer with your agent to draft up a better offer. You do not want to be the buyer that's lowballing or under offering to the seller when everyone else is offering over asking, or at least at market value. Speaking of real estate market update, I will create a new market update very soon because we are expecting changes and predicting a few things to happen into 2022. So be on the lookout for that so that way you are better prepared for next year. Now, while we're on the topic of buyers and sellers, it's important that you know that typically the buyer and the seller is represented by two separate agents, the buyer's agent and the seller's agent, also referred to as the listing agent because they list the seller's home on the MLS or into the market. Now, usually having two agents representing both the buyer and seller is meant to protect both sides. You do not want one agent representing both sides because there is a conflict of interest. Are they helping you win this home, or are they helping the seller earn more for the sale of their home, right? That being said, the listing agent or the seller's agent will list the home into the market at a specific price. We refer to this price as the list price. That price is either what the seller wants for the home, what they think it's worth, or what they think would be a good price to price strategically. What do I mean by strategically? Well, in a seller's market, for example, you as a buyer are competing against others for this same home. Some sellers may choose to list their home at a much lower price than what it's actually valued for in order to gain more attraction, more interest in the home, and basically starting a bidding war between all the buyers interested. They do this in hopes of gaining more than if they had priced it just at its actual value. Does it work? Sometimes. This means that the list price does not necessarily mean it will be the actual price that you end up paying for this home. Whatever the seller accepts from the buyer is considered the purchase price. So again, the list price is what the seller wanted for the home. The purchase price is what you ended up negotiating while you're in contract with the seller. So backtracking to writing the offer, in order to separate yourself from other buyers to put in a competitive offer, you usually have two different options. Obviously, you can offer more money, or you can offer the least amount of contingencies in your offer. I will go over this word contingencies in just a bit, but let's go with that first option first, offering more money. In order to place a good offer, you need to know the actual value of the home that you're offering on. That way you don't end up overpaying for this home. This is another reason why you need your realtor, because they can provide you with the comps. The comps or the comparables are other homes in the area that are very similar to the house that you're offering on. If 3 homes in the neighborhood are valued at $600,000, then there's a good chance that the house that you're offering on is also worth or valued at $600,000. Knowing that specific number can help you gauge more about where you're gonna offer on this home. So other than offering more money, the other option would be to offer the least amount of contingencies on your contract. Ultimately, the less contingencies on your offer or your contract means less that the seller has to go through, making it easier for them to sell their home. Every seller wants to sell their home as quickly and as fast as possible with the least amount of headache. Contingencies are conditions that have to be met in order for this purchase to go through. So basically, most of these contingencies are in place to protect you as the buyer, typically not the seller. Some examples of contingencies would be the home inspection contingency, the financing contingency, and the home sale contingency. When you have contingencies in the offer, you're basically telling the seller, yes, I will purchase your home if, 1, we do the inspection and we find nothing wrong with it or nothing that we don't want to fix. 2, we're able to secure the home loan, which is the financing contingency. And then 3, the home sale contingency is, yes, we'll buy the home as long as we sell our house first. Now, these mentioned contingencies should always be in your offer, but there are some contingencies in the offer that are considered optional. It's up to you and the agent to decide which ones are best kept or taken out to give you that extra edge when you offer to the seller. Again, the least amount of contingencies is preferable to the seller. Okay, so moving on from writing offers and the house hunting terms, now we're moving on to terms that you will find in escrow. Once your offer is accepted, you beat out other competitions by either offering more money or creating an offer that has the least amount of contingencies. The next step would be to start or open escrow. In order to initiate this, you must deposit the earnest money deposit to escrow. The earnest money deposit is money that you offer upfront to the seller to let them know that you are a serious buyer. Typically, this earnest money deposit comes in the form of a personal check or maybe even a cashier's check. This earnest money deposit is typically negotiated or stated in the contract, the offer that you offered to the seller, the one that they accepted. Now, the amount of the earnest money deposit is entirely up to you. It can be as low as $250 or as high as, let's say, $5,000, $10,000. It doesn't really matter too much. However, the more that you put down up front, the more serious that the seller is going to take you. Now, I do say that you're paying this upfront to the seller, but technically the seller never touches this money. It's given directly to escrow and then put into a specific escrow account that was made for your home purchase. And then escrow would notify the seller that you deposited the earnest money deposit. That's how they know that you're serious. Those funds will later either be given back to you or it can be used towards your down payment or your closing costs. In general, all parties, the buyer and the seller or anyone else involved like the realtor and the lenders, everyone is paid or charged at the exact same time at the very end of escrow, once all conditions are met. The only time that you ever lose this earnest money deposit is if you illegally break your contract with the seller. Like you dip out midway through the escrow process and you just disappear. Then that earnest money deposit is compensation to the seller for wasting their time or efforts with you when they're in contract with you. Whew. That kind of sounded harsh. Okay, so that wraps up this video. I will create a part 2 with terms that you would most likely see in escrow, as well as some mortgage terms. I hope this video was helpful to you and it was easy to understand. If you liked it, please let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask in the comments as well. Thank you for your time. Have a great day. Peace.